Okay, so today we are starting on other trig function graphs. We are going to be doing tangent and cotangent today, and then not tomorrow. Monday we'll be doing cosecant and secant. When we are doing tangent and we try to find the values of tangent of pi halves or 3 pi halves, it is undefined. So because of that, it's going to give us vertical asymptotes every pi, because these are pi apart, starting at pi halves. And then the standard form of a tangent function is y equals a tangent of bx minus h, and then that's in parentheses, plus k. The a is the amplitude, b is the change in the period, h is the phase shift, and k is the up and down shift. So to find the period of a tangent, we use this formula, which is negative pi halves is less than bx minus h is less than pi halves. So this is just literally this part in between the two asymptotes. Okay, so when we go to find our 5 key points for tangent, the first and last point will always be our asymptotes, and then the middle 3 will be points on our tangent graph. So the first thing I want to do for number 1 is it wants me to sketch this graph on this interval, so I'll focus on the interval later. But the first thing I want to do is I want to I know I have to put this between negative pi halves and pi halves. I'm going to take what is in the middle of, or what comes after the word tangent. So I'm going to put x over here. And then I need to solve this. So how would I solve this inequality? No. This one is currently being divided by 2. How do I get rid of division? Multiply. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply everything by 2. Okay. So then that is going to give me negative pi, because the 2's cancel out. In the middle, the 2's cancel out again, and I just get x. And then at the end, I get pi. Okay, so notice, how much of a distance is between these two values? Two pi. This is going to be my period. Okay, then I want to go find my p-values. So I'm going to take that 2 pi and divide by 4, which gives me pi halves. What should my starting value be this time? And why? Any ideas? Any ideas for my starting value for my key points? So my starting value should be the left bound of the range I have. So I'm going to start at negative pi, and then I'm going to keep adding pi halves. So negative pi plus pi halves gives me negative pi halves. Add pi halves again gives me 0. Add pi halves gives me pi halves. Add pi halves, and it gives me pi. So if I've done this correctly, I should start and end with the values from my inequality. Okay. So remember, I told you that these start and end values are, oh, I should label these. Like that. Okay, and then my y-axis doesn't matter so much on tangent, so I'm just going to count by ones. Okay, so like I said earlier, my start and end values should be asymptotes. So negative pi should be a dashed line. Positive pi should also be a dashed line. And then I only need to plug in my 3 middle values into the actual function. So I'm going to do y equals tangent negative pi divided by 2, because I'm plugging in negative pi. Nope. I'm not plugging in negative pi. I'm skipping that one because it's my asymptote. I'm plugging in negative pi halves, and then I'm dividing this by 2. So the way I type this into my calculator is I'm going to put the part I'm plugging in parentheses, and then divide that by 2. Okay, so what does this get us? Negative 1. Why did I not put my negatives on my y? There we go. So then I'm going to go do the same thing for 0. 0 gives me 0. And then I plug in pi halves. That gets us 1. So then I just need to go ahead and connect these dots. Remember, it's going to avoid those asymptotes, so it's going to kind of look like this. Ooh, that's pretty good. Huh? Because the two n values, when I plug them in the calculator, will give me errors, and that's meaning I have these asymptotes.
Oh.
So I've technically already done them just by graphing the asymptotes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, questions so far? I'm not done because I haven't graphed it on the interval at once. So I want it to go all the way out to 3 pi. Notice this is every 2 pi for the asymptotes. So 3 pi is going to have another asymptote. And then I just copy my dots over. So it's going to do this again. And then it also wants me to go backwards to negative 3 pi. And copy those dots over. Like this. Okay. Guys, quiet down. So this one, same idea. I'm going to start off between negative pi halves and put my middle piece in between. So how do I get this x alone? I want to divide everything by 2. So half of a half is a fourth. Okay, so what do I have a total distance of? Pi halves. So then for my key values, I'm going to take pi halves and divide by 4, which gives me pi eighths. So then I'm going to start at the negative pi fourths. Negative pi fourths plus pi eighths is negative pi eighths. If I add pi eighths again, that gives me 0. 0 plus pi eighths is pi eighths. 1/8 plus 1/8 gives me 1/4. Okay, before I go to graph this, what's my amplitude? No, just the 3. Remember, amplitudes are always positive, and the negative means I reflect across the x-axis. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and label these. 8. This one's 3 pi eighths, pi halves, 5 pi eighths, and 3 pi fourths. Okay, where do I want to put my asymptotes? Pi fourths and negative pi fourths. And then I'm going to plug in the negative pi eighths and the positive pi eighths and 0. I didn't have it. Okay, so what do we get when we type in negative pi eighths? 3. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and plug in 0. What does that one give me? 0. And if I plug in positive pi eighths, negative 3. So this one is going to curve the opposite way. Why is it curving the opposite way? Because I reflected it. And then this one just wants me to make sure I'm on the correct interval. So I'm just going to copy this over. Okay, questions here on number 3. So I'm going to skip number 4 because we don't have time, and we're going to work on number 5. This last one we're talking about is cotangent. Cotangent's formula is between 0 and pi for its asymptote. So it works the same way as tangent. I'm going to take the middle piece and put it in between 0 and pi now. So then how do I get x alone? Multiply everything by 3. So it's going to give me 0 is less than x is less than 3 pi. What is my period here? 3 pi. Okay, so for my key values, I want to do 3 pi divided by 4. So I'm counting by 3 pi fourths. I start at 0. 0 plus 3 fourths is 3 fourths. 3 fourths plus 3 fourths, oops, gets me 3 halves. Plus 3 fourths gets me 9 fourths, 9 pi fourths. And if I add 3 fourths again, I should get 3, which I do. I don't know why I turned that into a fraction. Okay. Oh, 3 pi, you're right. Okay. I'm going to count by 3 pi fourths.
What's that foot mark?
Actually,
Okay.
Okay, so this one, just like tangent, my asymptotes are at my two end values. So I'm going to have an asymptote at 0 and an asymptote at 3 pi. And then I just want to plug these into my equation. I'm only plugging in the 3 middle values again, because I know my two end values are asymptotes. So when I type this one into the calculator, the way I do this is I'm going to do 2 divided by, because there's no cotangent button. So I'm going to do 2 divided by tangent. And then I'm going to do parentheses 3 pi fourths. Oops, where'd my 3 go? 3 pi fourths. Close off that first set of parentheses, and then divide that by 3. And close that. No. The dividing by tangent makes it a cotangent. There's no cotangent button. That's inverse. That's to find an angle. Okay, so then I press enter, and this one gives me 2. 2. Okay, so then I'm going to go do the same thing for 3 pi halves. So then I'm going to type it in the same way. 2 divided by tangent, and then parentheses 3 pi halves, divided by 3. Okay, so on this one, when it gave me the error for when I divided by tangent, I needed to check to see if it gave me the error for tangent as well. This one means that tangent is normally undefined there, which means the 0 is on the bottom of the denominator. When I turn it into cotangent, the 0 moves to the top. So if it gives me an error when I'm dividing by tangent, this really means 0. Okay. Then I just want to go ahead and plug in my last one. Nope. And this gets me -2. So then I connect my points. And then this one wanted it from -3 pi to 3 pi, so I just need to copy it over. No,